I would like to thank all of you for coming to the 46th annual meeting. Thank you all for joining us today, and thank you for calling in those who are on the phone. I'm disappointed that we can't have this in person, but we've been doing it for second year in a row now. I'm excited to share with you how hard we've worked this year to continue our mission during a truly unprecedented situation. If you're on the phone, please remember to mute your phone so that everyone can hear. Again, thank you all for being on the call with us today. In the room with me today are my fellow board of directors, Randolph Senior Adult Association Director, Mark Hensley, along with a variety of RSAA staff. We are videoing today's virtual meeting and will have a link to the recording video available on Randolph Senior Adult Association's website and YouTube channel by Monday, September 27th. I speak on behalf of the board of directors in saying that we are pleased you're joining us on this call this afternoon as we highlight the important work and the impact Randolph Senior Adult Association continues to make in Randolph County. RSAA has been our county's lead agency on aging issues for 46 years. That's 46 years of service to seniors in Randolph County. Our mission has remained steadfast over these past 4 decades to empower adults age 50 and over in Randolph County toward a life of personal independence, healthy aging, social connection, and lifelong learning. We're here today to give you a snapshot and update of the programs, services, and activities over the last year that have been guided by this mission. As you all well know, and as evidenced by the fact we're not meeting in person, much of this past year has seen us facing a truly unprecedented situation. 2020 started out normal enough, and then in mid-March, boom, the pandemic hit. We closed all of our centers and all activities were canceled, and unfortunately, we stayed closed for 15 plus months. Even though we opened our doors in July of this year, the pandemic still continues to rule the decisions we make and how we're able to carry out our mission on a daily basis. I can tell you that under Mark's executive leadership, Randolph Senior Adult Association's knowledge and dedicated staff have been tireless over this past year in their efforts to meet the ever-increasing demands for service in transportation, nutrition, outreach, adult day services, information and options counseling, and many other programs. I can also assure you that there wasn't a manual on how to operate 5 senior centers during a global pandemic, but this group has figured it out. I commend Mark and all of the staff. The nutritious food we've continued to serve since the pandemic began is helping to keep seniors nourished and healthy. The friendly faces who have been delivering meals every 2 weeks has provided a small bit of socially distanced interaction during a time when countless seniors are choosing to stay safe at home. The fact that RCATS is still providing trips is giving so many seniors and families peace of mind. In fact, we haven't missed a day in providing uninterrupted service in these very essential areas, even while we were closed to the public during these 15 plus months. It's a huge accomplishment for such a small agency, such as ours, to pivot so quickly and continue to meet needs in these alternative ways for so long. Many thanks to our clients for their patience, and many thanks to the RSAA staff and volunteers for their dedication. Unfortunately, COVID-19 continues to impact all of us, from how people work to how we conduct our daily lives. I imagine you will all agree with me when I say that the last year has felt like 5. In some moments, other times was a blur. I'm sure some of you experienced this. Am I right? I want to say that our hearts go out to everyone who's been impacted by the virus, either directly or indirectly. Our thoughts are especially with those who are sick, to whom we extend our heartfelt wishes for a full recovery. I hear stories every day of the selfless healthcare workers in our community. We remain truly inspired by those who are on the front lines, working tirelessly to care for people in need. You could say we have lost a lot this year, But you can also say we have gained many things as well. We've worked together in new ways with stakes higher than any we have ever faced. We have worked harder with more intensity and with more creativity. We have shared experiences with each other, bonding as board members, staff, community members, and volunteers. Yes, we've been through a lot over the last 18 plus months and counting, but while many things have changed, one thing has remained the same: our commitment to band together for the senior adults we serve. Shortly, Mark will share more detail with you, but first I want to say thank you to everyone who has been a part of our successes this year. Your presence this afternoon shows how you're involved and invested with our organization as we continue to keep seniors at the center of all we do. For that, I want to say thank you. At this time, we have a few short items of business for our board. We need an approval from the minutes from last year's annual meeting. And people on the phone, the minutes are posted on the homepage of the Randolph Senior Adult Association website under the annual meeting information. I need a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll make a motion.
Carolyn Vickery, and a second.
Second.
Vicki Lorimer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Say nay. Motion is approved. The RCAT's public hearing for today, this is for fiscal year 2022 and 23 for the Community Transportation Program. And Tawana is going to help us with that.
This is the public hearing that on the proposed FY 2023 Community Transportation Program application to be submitted to the North Carolina Department of Transportation no later than October the 8th. And this is for on the administrative side, $527,544. On the capital side, $234,676. For a total project amount of $762,220 with a local share of $102,600. This time the public hearing is now open.
Are there any public comments? The public hearing is now closed. We now need a motion and a second to approve the RCAT's application for funding for fiscal year 2022-23. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Carolyn Vickery. Vicki Lorimer, second. Okay, Vicki, you want to come give your report for nominating committee?
Okay.
Good afternoon. Let me begin by asking, before I present these nominees and the slate of officers, if there are any nominations from the floor. All right, there being none, we will continue. We have appointed 3 new members for outgoing members and 5 reapplies. All right, our new, and I'm making a motion to this effect. Our 3 new members are, and if you're here, please stand. Becky Parker. Nice to see you. Greg Patton. Sandy Clark. Well, it's nice to have you with us, Becky. All right, I have made a motion. I need a second to approve these 3 new members.
I'll make a second.
Okay, thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No? Okay, motion carries. All right, the reappointments for people, these are 5 people served on the board for the last 2 years, and they have graciously agreed to continue for 2 more years. They are, and if you again will stand, Brenda Ambrose, Ann Calicut, Melody Hancock, Pat Hutcherson, And Bob Wilhoit, I know Bob's not here. Thank you. I make another motion, that will need a second in just a minute. And this is for the slate of officers. The officers for the year 2021 will be President Bob Wilhoit, Vice President Vicki Cox Humphreys, Secretary Brenda Goldston, and Treasurer Jim Finnison. Do I have a second to my motion?
I second.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, so the officers are approved as nominated. Is there any further new or old business concerning officers and new members? Thank you.
Thank you, Vicki.
Mm-hmm.
At this time, I'd like to call on our Executive Director, Mark Hensley, to share more.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Vicki. It's a pleasure to be with you again this afternoon, to those of you here in person and those of you on the telephone. I'm proud to say that I just recently celebrated 3 years at the helm of this organization. And I often tell people that as soon as I came on board at Randolph Senior Adults, we experienced 2 hurricanes within a 1-month period of time. Now I'm able to add global pandemic to the list. I'll tell you, just like Nancy said, I searched high and low in my office for a handbook on how to handle a pandemic, but as you can imagine, I wasn't able to find one. Luckily, we're blessed to live in a community where we truly care about each other, a place that still believes in the golden rule and that perseveres even in the most challenging of times. And to me, that type of commitment serves as the best guiding light, handbook or no handbook. When the pandemic came to Randolph County and we were required to close our centers, we knew that we would need to still provide, at a minimum, the basic services needed for the well-being of our clients. Basically, we were forced to react overnight, and the pandemic pushed us to be more innovative and especially creative with the delivery of our mission. I will say that the pandemic has proven to us just how strong our team and our community really are. Most of all, it has shown us that while a lot changed in 2020, and so far for the better half of this year, our unconditional commitment to serving our community has not. While many organizations abandoned their plans for 2020, the pandemic only served to amplify ours. You may notice the front of this year's annual report features our own staff holding signs that say, COVID-19 hasn't stopped seniors' needs for nutritious food, and we haven't stopped serving. I'm here to tell you that's the absolute truth. If you had asked me in January what I thought this year would bring, I would never have imagined that we would still be working each day to reinvent how we deliver our mission. I'm grateful to work alongside an outstanding team of resourceful and hardworking people. Every day, our staff demonstrates their dedication and commitment to service and their ability to adapt to an ever-changing environment that we now call COVID-19. I can say with pure conviction that our staff members are truly committed to delivering our mission and remain dedicated to Randolph Senior Adults' continuity of service despite the challenges of what has become our new normal. That's because at Randolph Senior Adults, we recognize how essential it is that we continue to serve. We recognize how essential it is to continue to provide meals to the hundreds of seniors across the county who face food insecurity. We recognize how essential it is to check in regularly with seniors who have lost their daily social connection with the closing of our senior centers. We recognize how essential it is to continue to provide RCATS trips, especially to those who rely on them for medical purposes, like critical dialysis appointments. Most importantly, we recognize how essential it is to do everything possible to keep our most vulnerable population safe and healthy during this unprecedented time. I'm sure you'll all agree with me that the outbreak of COVID-19 created a culture of uncertainty overnight. Knowing this, we recognize why it's so important to continue to serve our seniors, so the bigger question has become, how do we do that? How do we continue to serve uninterrupted despite the challenges of COVID-19? The answer? We try thinking outside of the box. This means that our same delicious, nutritious hot meals are now delivered frozen to our seniors. This means that we use grant funding to supplement frozen meals with grocery boxes for seniors who aren't able to get to the grocery store. This means that we still offer RCATS transportation. We just reduce the number of riders and implement greater safety protocols. This means that we handle our annual Medicare open enrollment period via phone and conference call with seniors instead of in person. This means that instead of having activities in our centers, we include unique craft kits with our meal deliveries. This means that instead of seniors having to come in person to their local center, we create a party line for them to call into and connect with their peers. This means that the seniors who are still not comfortable attending their local center, we call on them regularly to check in and make sure their basic needs are met. This also means that we still offer the AARP tax prep on site. We just converted it to drive-through service. And the list goes on and on. The point is that the pandemic has not stopped us from delivering our mission. However, it has forced us to be creative in how we go about it. So much good work has taken place over the past year, it's challenging to mention everything, but I would like to share some key highlights with you. Our caterer, Golden Corral, has risen to the challenge of COVID-19 and has been absolutely fantastic to work with. In fact, 126,545 meals were served between March 18th, 2020 and June 30th of 2021, while our centers were closed due to COVID-19. 101,000 meals were served between March 18th of 2020 and March 18th of 2021, which was the first full year of COVID-19. Now, to put that in perspective, our strongest year in the number of meals served was 97,000. This means that we served 4,000 additional meals over our previous record, all in a pandemic. For the fiscal year 2020-2021, we served 93,305 meals. I'm proud to say that our seniors haven't missed a meal since the pandemic began, and most importantly, seniors who rely on Meals on Wheels haven't had to worry about whether or not they would have food. Our Information and Options Counseling Division continues to lead the region in the savings provided to seniors during the Medicare open enrollment period. They are ranked number 2 in the state of North Carolina for the number of clients served, number 12 in the state of North Carolina for the dollars saved for those clients, number 1 in the Piedmont Triad region for number of clients served, and number 1 in dollars saved by clients in the Piedmont Triad region. Last year, the team served more than 1,300 clients and saved Randolph County residents nearly $250,000. This two-person team also distributed 200 fans to seniors in need of heat relief, conducted virtual caregiver skills workshops, produced and distributed 1,500 quarterly copies of the Nurturer newsletter, provided 82 care bags to area caregivers, and delivered 37,000 packages of incontinence supplies in the community, saving seniors more than $25,000. As I've said before, I'm happy to say that RCATS has not missed a single day of service during the pandemic. How many organizations can say they did not miss a single day due to COVID-19? By reducing van capacity to 50%, providing personal protective equipment to our drivers and riders, and installing plexiglass dividers to keep our drivers and riders separate, we have continued to meet the transportation needs of our community. Excuse me. Trips to medical appointments, shopping, employment, Randolph Community College, vocational workshops, and dialysis clinics had to continue whether there was a worldwide virus or not. We are so proud of the RCATS team and how our riders have adapted in order to keep the wheels rolling. As a matter of fact, about 6 weeks ago, I had the honor of attending a program where the North Carolina Department of Labor awarded RCATS the Gold Safety Award. It's not only the fact that they were able to continue during the pandemic, but they did it in a safe manner, always keeping rider safety as the #1 priority. We were able to offer technology classes to seniors or basic computer skills to help them connect more easily with grandkids, family, friends, and healthcare professionals. 12 4-week classes were conducted and more than 50 senior adults have graduated, assisting them in their ability to be connected online. We still have a waiting list for senior adults wanting this class, and we will continue offering it as long as there is demand. We enhanced Randolph Senior Adults website and social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, and now we have a YouTube channel to provide more opportunities to serve the community and connect with seniors. An outstanding volunteer, Randolph Senior Adult Board member, North Carolina Senior Tar Heel delegate and former speaker Betty Hunt was recognized with the Governor's Volunteer Service Award. She was honored by the United Way of Randolph County, the North Carolina Commission on Volunteerism and Community Service, and the Randolph County Board of Commissioners. We've been working with the City of Asheboro and Landmark Asset Services to bring about the Church Street Lofts, 50 senior apartments in the old Acton McCreary property adjacent to Randolph Senior Adults. What a fantastic opportunity this will be for our seniors and our city. We're so excited about the opportunity this brings. We also launched our senior cheerleading team, the Randolph Rhinestones. Now, if you're wondering, they don't compete with pyramids and they don't have flyers, but they have a great time. Before COVID-19 derailed their outreach efforts, this group of 9 women brought cheer and joy to so many seniors at various assisted living facilities throughout Randolph County. The next time we have a Christmas parade, I don't know when that will be, but the next time we have one, look for the Randolph Rhinestones. There'll be that cheerful bunch cheering as they go down the street. In January of 2015, we occupied this building, the Harry and Jeanette Weinberg Adult Resource and Education Center. If you're wondering how you can have your name on a building, if you will give $1 million, we will find a building to name after you. To be able to move into this wonderful facility, Randolph Senior Adults acquired a loan in the amount of $3.2 million. That loan was to purchase this property, renovate the old mill part of the property, and add on new construction. The only way we could get that loan was by showing that we had pledges from our community to cover that loan. Well, now here we are 6.5 years later, and our pledge campaign, we collected 99.7% of the $3.2 million in pledges. And I'm happy to report that in June of 2021, the mortgage was paid in full on this facility, so it's owned free and clear. Most of all, I'm extremely proud to say that no Randolph Senior Adult staff member was laid off due to COVID-19. So as you can tell, we're working diligently each day to serve seniors and help provide a life of personal independence, healthy aging, social connection, and lifelong learning. Every day we hear stories of how our work is making an impact. You remember just a moment ago I mentioned we're working to offer basic computer skills to seniors? Well, we've heard so many heartwarming stories and received a lot of positive feedback on the impact of these classes. So I'm going to ask Kathy Reynolds. Kathy is the Liberty Senior Center Director, to share a few stories she's heard directly from the seniors who took the class, as well as her own personal comments on how beneficial the class was to her. Kathy, would you come up?
afternoon. Can you hear me? I have a low voice. Okay, through the CARES Act funding, we was able to offer Andrew tablet classes at the Liberty Senior Center. A set of classes lasted 4 weeks, with the participants coming twice a week. The Liberty Senior Center was able to offer 3 sets of classes for 3 to 5 seniors. They learned how to use technology as a tool to reduce social isolation and enhance overall well-being. Each senior received an Andrew tablet to use in class and to take home during the 4 weeks. In these classes, they learn what a tablet can do. It can instantly connect them to family and friends through text messaging, allow them to send, receive, and enjoy pictures and videos, get answers to the question by searching the internet, find people who share their interests, and give them access to apps to help them stay connected. Without this tech grant, we would have not been able to purchase or offer these tablet classes. And I'd like to share a few stories from the seniors who took these classes. Marie, who knew nothing about computers, is now able to go on Facebook and play solitaire. Pat learned how to order groceries online. Gloria can send and receive pictures and videos from her grandkids. Roberta can search, is that better? Roberta can search the internet for a new car. Fred and Faye learn how to use the map app to find their way when traveling to new places. Doris and Martha learn how to do their family research online. Before COVID, I had updated my old cell phone to a smartphone and found myself a little lost. I could do the basic stuff, but that was about it. Taking the train-the-trainer classes and teaching these tablet classes has helped me update my own technical skills. I feel more confident in using my new skills, and each time I teach a class, I, the trainer, learn something new. So if you don't know a lot about smartphones or tablets, or know a little, check out the senior centers for the next set of classes. I myself recommend you take a class. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. We've been very blessed to have participated in that grant and be able to help our seniors in all of 4 of our communities, Archdale, Asheboro, Liberty, and Randleman, become better connected. And again, if you, like Kathy says, if you are interested in learning more, please contact our centers, the center that's closest to you, and we'll get you on a waiting list for the next available class. I would also say, Kathy, that if you're worried about being able to see your notes, if you do really big font, then you can do it so that it doesn't require reading glasses for those of us who might be too vain to pull them out and put them on during the meeting. But again, thank you, Kathy, for sharing. So how's all this great work possible? As I mentioned earlier, we have staff members and volunteers who've been here for decades. Their commitment to do what we do every day, how we do it, and who we serve is phenomenal, and we couldn't do it without them. Today, I'd like to recognize 11 staff members who have completed milestones with our organizations. Several recipients could not be with us today, but we'll provide them with their service awards at a later date. But I'm going to ask Nancy if she'll come up and, as I call the folks' names out, if she'll hand out their certificate and their pin and their award. First, we'll start with those who are celebrating 5 years of service. We have Barbara Emery from the Archdale Senior Center, who is not here with us today. We have Paul Hogan, one of our RCATS drivers. He should be the leader of the Rhinestone cheerleading group. He is the biggest RCATS supporter in Randolph County. And if you've ever been in our building and you hear somebody yell, RCATS, it's this man right here. Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, Mark.
Another person who can be with us today is Kathy Homiller, our finance director. And Gaynell McCory, who is our Randleman Senior Center Assistant Director. Wanda Pilot in RCAT's dispatch could not be with us today. Jasper Smith. Jasper is an RCAT's driver, and he is celebrating 5 years of service with RCATs and Randolph Senior Adults. For those of you on the phone, we're taking photo ops here, so bear with us a moment. We have Penny Tosto, our Ashboro Senior Center Assistant Director, also celebrating 5 years, who could not be with us today. We have Terry Hill, one of our RCATS drivers, who is celebrating 5 years of service. Folks, one of the most important things as we age is our ability to stay independent. And if you're no longer able to drive, that independence suffers. And so having the ability to have an RCATS, to have reliable, safe drivers that you can depend upon to pick you up and take you to your destination and then come get you and take you home, that's so critical in our community, especially a community that doesn't have public transportation. RCATS is basically the public transportation for Randolph County. We also have 3 individuals that are celebrating 15 years of service, and I'd like them to come up. We have 3 of them that will come up. The first one, Steve McGaughan, who is our RCATS Transportation Coordinator in Randolph County. We have a certificate and a 15-year pin, as well as a clock.
Oh, geez, so what time it is?
Belina Lilly, also an RCATS driver with 15 years of service. And we also have Larry Bennett, also an RCATS driver. Are you noticing a pattern here with the tenure of these folks that have been with us being with RCATS? These 11 individuals have a combined total of 85 years of service to Randolph Senior Adults. Talk about dedication. We just don't hear about this much anymore in the workforce. Would you join me in giving a round of applause for their commitment? In addition to great staff, we have a dedicated, insightful, and forward-thinking board leadership. We've had that since day one, with an amazing roster of presidents, top-notch community leaders, and professionals from a wide range of backgrounds, all willing to give selflessly of their time and energy to this organization as it evolved from one location and a few programs to multiple locations and multiple programs serving thousands of individuals each year. We would now like to recognize the service of 3 people who are retiring from the board this year. Our incoming board president, Bob Wilhoit, could not be with us today, so I'd like to call on board member Vicki Lorimer to join me and help present our board awards. Our first recipient could not be with us today, representing Ashboro on the board, Betty Faust. Betty's been a wonderful asset to senior adults over the past 4 years, and we have a token of appreciation for Betty. We'll make sure that she gets that. Representing Liberty, we have Carolyn Vickery. Carolyn has also been a tremendous asset to Randolph Senior Adults over the past 4 years. She also serves on the Randolph County Aging Services Planning Committee. She's extremely dedicated to the senior adults of our community. And Carolyn, would you come up and join us, please? We have a small gift for you to thank you. then representing Randleman is our own board president, Nancy Henderson. She's not only been brilliant, creative, strong, dedicated, she's been available. I can't tell you, and she might be keeping a list, but I can't tell you how many times I've called and said, we need you, can you come by to sign something, or we need to talk about something. She's been extremely supportive of the initiatives that we've undertaken here. She's given great feedback. We're just so blessed to have had, for the 4 years of her board service, she has served as board president for 3 of those. She's going to be extremely missed by myself, the board, and the staff here. And Nancy, would you come up so we can present you with a small gift as well? I'd like to say that I did that, but
Thank
that wouldn't be
you,
true.
thank you.
To Betty, Carolyn, and Nancy, thank you so much for your service to Randolph Senior Adults. Please join me in giving these folks a round of applause. So it's clear that our board and staff and board of directors are committed to the work we do every day, and we couldn't do it without them. But we also couldn't operate as an organization without our army of volunteers. Today, I want to also highlight the dedication and commitment of 2 long-serving volunteers. This past June, we added Bill and Ann Hoover to the Randolph Senior Adults Hall of Fame. For those of you who have been inside the Harry and Jeanette Weinberg Adult Resource and Education Center, which is the building we're in today, you may have noticed the wall just after you pass by the reception area and on the way to the Ashborough Senior Center. This wall is reserved for people who have gone above and beyond the call of duty. Their names are synonymous with service and dedication to seniors and the Randolph Senior Adults Association. In June, we held a reception to induct Ann and Bill posthumously to the Randolph Senior Adults Hall of Fame, and remember their countless contributions to our organization, and we honored the many hours of service and dedication given by Ann and Bill to the seniors of Randolph County. We are forever indebted to the Hoovers for their service to Randolph Senior Adults. I'd also like to call your attention as you're leaving today, or if you come to visit us, is our Acorn Wall, located in the lobby of this building. It's adjacent to the Tree of Life, or the big oak tree, where donors for the Capital campaign were recognized. The Acorn Wall folks are folks that have made significant contributions to Randolph Senior Adults after the Capital campaign. They include major donors, signature sponsors, in-kind donors, and planned gifts. We greatly appreciate their extensive support, and we will be hosting a reception in their honor in early November. Many of you in this room and on the phone give to Randolph Senior Adults for many different reasons. You provide support, skills, talent, and abilities to our organization, and for that I thank you. But I'm going to put out a plea right now. We have a desperate need for volunteers in this organization as we're coming out of COVID-19, especially in the area of delivering Meals on Wheels. Currently, if you come into one of our 5 centers, we call you a congregate client, and if you do that, we serve a daily hot meal. Unfortunately, right now, we don't have enough volunteers that are vaccinated to deliver a daily hot meal to our Meals on Wheels clients. So we are continuing with what we did during COVID-19, and we are serving those folks a box of 10 frozen meals every 2 weeks. They are the same nutritious meals that a client would get hot. They're simply frozen. And so if you're thinking about, well, you know, I could probably help out, the minimum requirement we ask is 1 hour a month. Now, many of our volunteers do more than that, but that's the minimum we ask. I really think, and I've shared this with in annual meetings before, but I really think there are 3 benefits to Meals on Wheels to the client, and there's 1 benefit to the volunteer. First of all, the benefits to the clients is the basic one. It's a nutritious meal. And unfortunately, many of our clients would simply go without if it weren't for Meals on Wheels. Secondly, every time a volunteer shows up on somebody's front porch with a nutritious meal, they're performing a wellness check. You said, well, do you only recruit doctors and nurses to do your deliveries? No. But if you deliver the same route for weeks and months at a time, and going forward, you get to know the people on your route. And you're accustomed to Sally when she comes the door, her mannerisms, her personality, how she talks with you. And if you happen to notice that something's off, we simply say, when you come back to the center, tell the center director, we need to check on Sally. And then we will start reaching out to Sally's next of kin, or we might even go out and do a home assessment to see if Sally's actually doing okay. The third thing that we provide in Meals on Wheels to the client is just as important as the nutritious meal, and that's the human interaction, the social connection. Again, unfortunately, for many of our clients, that Meals on Wheels volunteer who's standing on their front porch is the only human they will interact with that day. Think about your parents, your grandparents, someone that you love and you care about, and think about them sitting at home all day with no other human contact. But when somebody shows up with a meal and a smile and asks how you're doing, it can brighten their day so quickly. There's also a benefit, I believe, to the volunteer. Most volunteers, when they start volunteering and serving meals and delivering meals, they say, well, I'm going to give that hour a month that you asked for, Mark. I'm going to drive my car, and therefore I'm going to put my gas in the car, so I'm going to spend a little money doing this. So I'm going to help out. I'm going to volunteer. Typically, within about 2 weeks, that volunteer comes back and says, I was wrong. I am getting back so much more than I'm giving. Seeing a smile on their face, seeing them excited that I'm there, them going on and on and on about their family or their friends or their cats. When I leave that front porch, I feel so blessed to be able to do this. I promise you, if you volunteer delivering meals, you will walk away with that feeling as well. One of my favorite quotes is, to the world you may be one person, but to one person you may be the world. If you or someone you know may want to volunteer with us, please have them contact Kim Allgood, our community engagement and volunteer coordinator, to get the ball rolling. I want to thank everyone for being on the call today. I hope today's information shines a light on how Randolph Senior Adults works hard as an organization each day to maintain the continuity of our mission and encourage active, healthy aging. Chances are there is someone in your life who can use our services. That someone could be a parent or a grandparent who may need some extra help in order to stay safely at home. A coworker who is trying to balance the responsibilities of raising children and caring for adult parents. A neighbor who can no longer drive safely, or a friend who is trying to figure out their Medicare coverage or a hospital bill. That someone could also be you and me, either today or sometime down the road. Thank you again for supporting and celebrating the opportunities Randolph Senior Adults provides every day, and thank you for being involved and invested. As I mentioned earlier, our incoming board president, Bob Wilhoit, could not be with us in person today, so I'd now like to call on Nancy Henderson as her last official act to call our meeting to adjourn. Nancy?
Before we adjourn, I'd like to thank Mark and the staff here. The last 4 years have been great. They've not been hard to do, they've made it easy. It's the whole job. It doesn't feel like a job. if anyone can think of that they could volunteer, please do. It really does give you something. And when Ann was here for her and Bill's reception, someone asked Ann, why did they do it? She said, somebody has to do it. And that's so clear that there is a need. I have something, I stole this from Pat Hutchison. Do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as you ever can. Thank you, and you're dismissed.